Hey everybody, Steve List, aka Ask Mr. List, and today is your first lesson on plant identification. And we can't do any plant identification until we start out with taxonomy. What does taxonomy mean? Well, you break it down over here, and it starts with life, domain, kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, and species. Taxonomy is the science of naming and describing and classifying organisms. Well, I'm not a botanist, I'm not a biologist, I'm not teaching those, I'm teaching plant ID. So we want to start with family and work our way down. Families is very, very important, and our first plant, which is going to be Lantana, is in the Verbenaceae family. All families will be ending with A-C-E-A-E. Families are very, very important in plant identification. And if I had to do a plant ID class, just 100% plant ID, I would do just families, and then I'd break it down into genus and species. The book I really like is Botany in a Day, and this breaks down your families to describe each group to understand how to ID plants. But this group of kids and this plant ID, this is going to be basically Plant ID 101, just a real sharp course. We'll probably do 25, 35 plants this semester. 90% of the plants will be on campus. This is a first for me. I usually teach random plants throughout. I get a list of plants from the CATA, but this time it's going to be mostly from campus. I'm going to sprinkle in a few annuals and maybe some house plants. So what we've got here is we're going to start out our family, Verbenaceae, all right? Our first plant is Lantana. The genus is Lantana. The species is Montevidesensis. Sorry, I can't pronounce it, and that's something that you should not ever worry about, is pronunciation. It's more important to know the spelling. And as you can see, the Lantana, the genus is capitalized, the species is not. Both of these should be italic, but if you can't make them italic, underline them. It'll serve the same purpose. Okay, since I don't know how to write an italic, I'm going to do it that way. Anyhow, we break it down like that, so a real easy way to understand plant identification also is the genus could represent your surname. The species could represent my first name. So if we're looking at genus, that would be List, that's my family name, and then I'm broken down into Steve. So we could think about it like that if you're having a hard time recognizing it. This stuff giving you as much information as I can. So anyhow, underline, genus, species, always Latin. Why do we want to make this Latin? Because it's a universal language. Latin names are all over the world. Could be the same in Germany, could be the same in South America, Africa, Russia, China, all of them the same. They always use the genus species in Latin. Common names can vary from town to town, from country to country. If you go and ask somebody in Spain for an apple, they're going to look at you funny. But if you ask them for a Malus domestic, I believe is your apple, they'll know what you mean. So in our first plant is Lantana, and the species Montevidesensis, and then the variety here, I didn't put this up here, the variety is New Gold. And since most of my class, when we're not distance learning, is hands-on, you can see this is our Lantana. Once I'm done with this portion of the video, we're going to go outside and do part 2, and I'm going to show you the different Lantanas. Common name, trailing Lantana. Low water, 2 to 3 foot height, 6 to 8 foot width, full sun. And I always like to do this for my plant identification is note. Lots of color, year-round, great for pollinator gardens. There's this little tiny Lantana moth that buzzes around this thing, and it's kind of cool to have. Little kids love it. So that being said, that should break it down, whereas what we're going to do after you watch this video, I'm going to give you a list of 3 to 5 plants each week. I'm going to give you the botanical names, and I want you to find the common names. The reason I want you to do that is that you'll research it, and I think you can come up with some cool answers and understand the plant a little bit better. If I give you the common name and try to look up the botanical name, you're going to have difficulty, because remember, common names differ from city to city, from town to town, from country to country. So we're going to go botanical name, genus, species, and research. Understand the plants, but I want you to understand and learn the botanical name of the plant before you learn the common name. All right, that being said, we're going to go outside and we're going to take a look at how lantana grows in a few varieties, and we'll add it to this video. See you in a bit. Here we are with our golden lantana. It's also sprinkled with a purple salvia in here. This is our pollinator garden, and we're talking about lantana. If you look, there's those little lantana moths. See it all over here? You have a combination of the white lantana and the purple lantana. You see them all? They're kind of cute. And then you have the yellow lantana that's here. And then we have an orange lantana with a little, look, there's a little white sprigs. I also like the confetti lantana, which has a little bit more red in it. But you can see the growing characteristics that this is. Twice a year, we cut these things all the way to the ground. And almost year-round, you get color out of them. Very drought tolerant, lots of color, and a great pollinator. So there you go, our first plant, lantana.